2025 became the year of learning to DNF for me. It made my stats a lot higher. I had more 5-star reads and more books that I just wanted to scream about than any other year. I also found myself having a little bit more motivation when it came to reading because I knew that if I didn't like a book, I could just bless and release it. I was not pushing through any books. And so for the first time, I have a lot of books to talk about that I did not finish. So we're gonna go over all of the books I DNF'd in 2025. I don't promise to remember why I DNF'd them at all anymore. I mostly just wanted to make this list so that we could look back on it and that we could know that DNFing is okay, because I definitely found some more gems because of it. I feel like for a long time, everyone else would say DNFing is okay, but the pressure I put on myself was different. It felt like I needed to finish books to be able to review them, to have thoughts on them. Like, I felt like if I didn't finish it, I didn't have the ability to tell someone that I didn't like that book because, well, I didn't finish it, so I don't know how it ended. And that's not true, because it just didn't work for me for many other reasons. I also found that as a watcher of BookTube, I found DNFing really good. It taught me more about a reader's taste when I watched content. Like, I learned more from what they DNF'd. I learned whether I wanted to give that book a shot or whether I should maybe skip it. As long as they were reviewing why they DNF'd a book, I found it almost better sometimes than when they finish a book, because it gave me like a little bit of a different insight than I normally get into their reading. I wasn't the best at tracking my DNFs, I'm not gonna lie. So I have 23 written down, but I may have DNF'd some more, so if I forgot any and you remember it, let me know down below. The first one I have written down is Of Blood and Aether, and I don't even remember this book. I think it was a book subscription box that I had. I think it was a special edition. I'm reading the synopsis currently, and I don't remember this book at all. How far did I get into it in a DNF? I don't know. I think I felt like it had no substance to it. Maybe things happened too quickly. I reviewed it in a vlog somewhere. I think it was in my first Unsubscribe My Wallet episode. I don't know why sometimes when I'm thinking I touch my nose. Weird trait. Yes, it must have been it, because my next book is Starlight Heir, and I do remember this one. This was a subscription box. I think it was a romantasy fairy loot, and I remember not being connected to this story in any way, shape, or form. I think a lot of my DNFs are for this exact same reason. I just couldn't connect. I couldn't relate to the characters. I didn't enjoy the plot, so I don't really have much to say throughout this video, but I did DNF the Starlight Heir. After that, we had Hollow Heathens, which was a very slow story. I think this was just too slow for me. I do remember liking the like small town vibes that were happening, but just wanting so much more to happen while I was reading and just not wanting to pick up the book because I knew nothing was really going to happen while I read it. So this was a DNF. A Touch of Golden Madness was a surprising DNF because of how much it was loved, but not really surprising at the same time because it does have the amnesia trope in it, and I just like can't stand that trope. Every time I read that trope, I just have troubles connecting to the characters because they don't really understand why they're doing things. I find the authors often are like, they don't get it, but they have this attraction to this guy, but they don't really remember why, or they know how to do this, but they don't remember why, and it just always irks me. And I'm like, well, if they don't remember why, how am I supposed to understand exactly why they're doing things and their character motivations and things like that? So this was a DNF because of that, but I really wanted to like it because so many of my friends were liking it. It's like dystopian setting. It just really didn't work though, and that's so sad. It's so sad when a book you want to work doesn't work. Next up was Caraval, which was a book really outside of my comfort zone that I never really thought I would read. I was not really interested in reading it, but there was a special edition going on sale of it that I thought was stunning, and so I decided to give it a shot. I was like, if I don't like it, I'll DNF. I think I DNF'd it really early on, within like 5 chapters. I don't even think they got to Caraval yet. The writing was just reading really young for me, and it just was not working, and so I knew really quickly that I was not going to give this book more than a 3-star, and I wasn't going to buy a special edition, and I wasn't that interested in the story. So bless and release, and we moved on to bigger and better things, and we said goodbye to Caraval. Between Life and Death by Jacqueline Cott had been a book that had been sitting on my TBR for so long, so I finally picked it up and gave it a shot. This was a book I randomly bought in a bookstore, which I'm learning to not do. Sometimes I cover buy, or sometimes I just want to spend money. Like, do you ever walk into a store and you're like, I want to spend money, and then there's nothing you really want, so you just like look around and you buy some random thing just because you wanted that itch scratched? I do that, and I'm really trying not to do that, and I think I did a really good job of that in 2025 of not doing that, but this was one of those itches that I scratch, especially when I walk into an indie bookstore. I feel bad if I don't buy something, and I need to stop feeling that way. Like, nobody cares. No one's even watching what I'm doing. Like, no one cares if I left empty-handed. I think it's because when the indie bookstores, there's like one person, they say hi to you, and then you look around and then you leave, and I'm like, bye. And I want to support them at the the same time. So then I just buy random books. That it's a me problem. But they just like watched me and I felt bad. This one, I felt like there was so much smut really early on. It felt very sexual forward, and that's just like not my preferred type of romantasy. There again was like he was into her for some reason and he could remember some stuff that she couldn't. It wasn't technically amnesia, but it was very similar, and I just really didn't vibe. I think when the guy remembers something and the girl doesn't, it feels like a power dynamic to me that I don't like, and so that's another reason I don't like amnesia. Like I just feel icked by it. Like he has more information than she does, and I just don't enjoy that. A Dance of Lies is the next one, and I was so excited for this one. I'm so sad I didn't like it. This is about a dancer who's in prison, and then to get out of prison she makes like a deal with the king to go dance. However, her body is destroyed from being in prison, and now she kind of has a chronic illness due to what has been done to her body, like the constraints that were on her and how she couldn't move, so like she just has pain. I do remember that in this one I didn't love how the representation was written. I don't have this representation. The author actually did write her own chronic illness kind of into it, but made it more like magical and different reasoning than what she has, but it was similar to what she had. So I can't say anything was right or wrong about her perspective and what she wrote, but I just found that what I would look for in representation is having bad days. I felt like it was written more hopeful, that like you can do anything you want. You have this chronic illness and you're in so much pain and you can just get up and go. And there is an extent to that, so I understand why that's what was written. But I also found like when my mom, she has chronic migraines, if she has a chronic migraine that day, she can't just like push through it. There are some that she can, but there are some where she's like, I need to lay in bed, and I missed those moments in this book. And then I just didn't love where the book was going. I was unsure about where the romance was going, and I was really nervous. I have actually found when I did a 1-star audit that I don't like when a character is broken out of prison and makes a deal with someone who's not the love interest. There have been multiple books that have that kind of storyline arc that I have not liked, and so I don't know what it is about those stories, but it seems to be a thread that I don't like, and this one did have that. And so there were just multiple things I personally didn't love about it, but I can't say anything was wrong. This is so subjective. I just didn't enjoy it. American Queen is the next one. This was recommended to me by Brie in our TBR swap. This was a wild card pick and she knew it, and this was so smutty really early on. There's also a past timeline, and I really have learned I don't like past and present timelines in my romance. And this was just smut. This was just kinky smut, and it just wasn't for me. I need more romance than this. I want like 1 or 2 smut scenes. Personal preference. Didn't work for me. And the next is Queens of Morai, which was in that same video. I'm so sorry, Brie. When I look back on that video, I DNF'd so many things. I actually think this would have been just like a 3-star mid book, but I really tried to DNF a lot of books that just weren't feeling more than like a basic 3-star for me. And this one I was really confused by what was going on. The story itself, there was a lot of things happening, and I feel like nothing intricately well developed. Like I wanted more details about a lot of things. There's necromancy in this, which is another thing that I think I don't enjoy. I want to. I really do. But when I look at my like 1-star audits, a lot of books I don't like have necromancy in it. And I think it's really cool. So I'm like, why don't I like this? But something about the like execution of them isn't hitting for me. And maybe it's because I want them to be darker. Maybe it's because I want them to be more explained. I don't really know. But it's a repeated pattern again. Swordcatcher. I was impressed by how this was written. I'd always thought Cassandra Clare was going to be a little bit more like 2000-ish writing style. And obviously this is more grown up than like City of Bones and stuff, but I still was impressed, and that's just my personal take on this. But I just couldn't connect to the storylines that were happening in this. I really felt like the characters were flat, and I had to bless and release. Broken Souls and Bones by L.J. Andrews hurt because I love the Everking series. That duet is one of my absolute favorites. I restarted this book twice. I read 100 pages physical and then 100 pages audiobook, like the start. And I, every single time, just felt like it went in one ear and out the other. Something about this book just could not take my attention and hold on to it. So I had to let it go, because like I couldn't just keep trying the same book over and over again and hoping for different results when the same things were happening. So I let go of it. I didn't care about this book apparently. The Raven Scholar. Oh, this one really hurts. I'll take you back to what Cassidy did. Cassidy has been trying not to buy books. I've been trying to read books first and then go buy them. If I like them, save my money, stop on hauling random things, you know, be a better money person, because I'm not good with my money. Reading The Raven Scholar, I read the prologue, I go, holy shit, this is incredible, 5 stars. The next day I'm out with my sister, so I stop by the bookstore, I buy The Raven Scholar, because I'm like, I started it and it's 5 stars. Amazing, incredible. Go home, continue reading. Prologue to chapter 1, vibe switch. The prologue, want more of that. The character we end up reading from, nothing like prologue character. It's more slow, it's more character driven, it's more inside voice character. I'm definitely more of like a stabby, fiery, stubborn MC kind of character. I'm not as introspective because that's who I am as a person too. I'm not very introspective. I speak and do without thinking and I get myself into a lot of trouble, and so I relate hard to it. So then when we switched characters, I found the book really slow. I was nitpicking at it because I wasn't engaged with the character, and so I ended up having to waste my money and unhaul this book, and that was really sad because I thought I did it the right thing by waiting till I started it, and then I still didn't like it. And it's really sad, and I'm seeing this on so many best of the year lists, and I'm like, did we read the same book? Should I try it again? But then I really wasted my money twice if I end up liking it. Okay, moving on. Of Blood and Betrayals, I don't really remember anymore. I think I DNF'd it because I didn't like the writing. But the next one, I remember. And they're both kind of similar-ish, so I think that's why I also read them back to back, so I just kind of blend them together, which is kind of scary. But the next one I DNF'd was On Wings of Blood. And this is like a vampire academy, but we're thrown into this world. And there's a prequel series that comes before this that I didn't know about. And I remember reading this and being really confused about a lot of things and being like, what is with this world building? I feel like I'm missing information. And then I learned that there was a prequel series. And so I might go back and try that prequel series first before I dive into this. Sometimes I don't find them necessary and sometimes I do. And I did often feel confused while reading this one, and that just made my enjoyment of the story not really work because I was like thinking about all the things I was missing. Oh, Ashes of Chaos was a special edition I had from Arcane, and I didn't love the first one, but like also was intrigued enough that I wanted to try the second one. So I did give the first book 2 stars, so I really probably should have just unhauled and blessed and released this. But I think because they were so pretty, I was like, let's try book 2 just because there's like a small bit of me that is intrigued. I shouldn't have tried book 2. I DNF'd it like 20 pages in. It's very, very smut heavy. The whole story kind of revolves around like things trying to get with her, to breed with her, and there's a lot of like smelling and stuff like that. Not my type of story. It's not for me. It's for other people. The series is loved, but it is not for me. I do think that if I could get past that, there is this really cool plot that's happening in this and like storyline around all of this. I got secondhand embarrassment quite a bit while reading, so I couldn't continue. Kingdom of the Wicked. I was really excited to try this because this is like a loved classic series, I feel like, for romantasy. It's like part of that like YA to romantasy pipeline. And I think that this was just such a slow start, and I'm not a big historical fan, that this didn't really work for me. I think I gave it like 60 pages before I was like, I'm not interested. And that's just a valid reason to DNF a book. There was nothing wrong with it besides that I thought it was slow and that I wasn't interested. Iron and Embers book 2 kind of crushed me because I did enjoy book 1, but it was like 3 stars-ish. Book 2, I was really confused with like the ending of book 1 and how that affected book 2. It felt like it didn't matter in book 2, and that just like was an issue I actually did have during Blood and Steel as well. I feel like the stakes the author makes then weren't like followed through with, so then the book feels like it has no stakes. I actually liked the Blood and Steel series, but ended up DNFing the second series in this world. I do think the characters felt a little less fleshed out than they did in Blood and Steel too, and that didn't help, and there was less of an epic scope plot, which is something I love. So overall, I actually DNF'd this like 80% in. I think I was buddy reading it with my friends and then I missed a day and I just never went back to it, and I was like, They all gave it like 3 stars, even the ones that loved book 1, and I was just like, you know what, maybe I'll come back to this. I hear really good things about the final book in the trilogy, and that's also what I learned is okay. It's okay to DNF a book for now. It's okay to be like, I don't like this, but I might come back to it in the future and try it again. That's 100% okay. Reading is our own hobby. It's for our own enjoyment, and so if times change sometimes, like literally I DNF Zodiac Academy 5 years ago and now it's one of my favorite series. Like that's allowed to happen, and so I'm allowed to change my mind and decide that I want to finish this book later on. And so if I hear good things about book 3, I'll do that. Till Death, I read for my 5-star audit and I got like 60% through before I was like, I just don't care. And I was really excited about the next books to come because I was doing that 5-star audit vlog and I knew the next book had potential to be a favorite. So I just was like, let's bless and release, because I was confused about how the magic worked. I was texting Mel trying to be like, what is going on? What exactly is happening? I didn't understand the connection, the chemistry between them. I really was interested in one small sliver of this book, and that wasn't enough to keep me going. So we DNF'd. A Tongue So Sweet and Deadly. This is another setting where it was like a girl breaking out of the prison, making a deal. The romance in this was so flat. plot. I feel like there was two men and she had chemistry with neither of them. We're doing like a love triangle thing, but I feel like neither had me rooting for them, and I have to at least root for one. I would like to be rooting for both actually in a love triangle, but I have to at least root for one. If I'm not rooting for either, why am I reading a love triangle? So I DNF'd this. I didn't like it, and that's okay. White Hot by Ilona Andrews was a follow-up. It's a sequel to a book that I gave 4 stars. This just felt very Monster of the Week, and I have learned my preferred storyline has more of an epic scale plot to it, not just like the same book done in different fonts, and that's what this felt like to me, so I DNF'd it. An Exquisite Rune was a Owl Crate romantasy book that I had heard nothing good about. This is another thing that I dislike in books where it follows 2 characters who are isolated. There's no one else in this book really besides the 2 of them, and I just like don't enjoy that. I like side characters, I like a full cast, things like that. And then this was just them bickering in the same pattern over and over and over again in a maze with really not that many cool things happening, and I really just didn't enjoy it, so we got rid of it real quick. This Vicious Oaths I read recently for my Goodreads vlog, and there was a lot of this that I liked, but I just couldn't buy into the romance. I felt like it was really like smut heavy. They have sex for the first time pretty early on in the book, and for my existence in romance, I want it to happen in like the 3rd quarter of the book and be like this scene that they really like worked up to. I just don't like when they're having sex early on. It's just not my preferred vibe, and it can really turn me off of a romance, and that's just subjective. And my last DNF of the year was Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. Historical, very character driven, not an epic scope plot. The plot really was about the characters and their journey in life and more introspective than like a real like thread pulling us through, and I honestly hated the present day timeline in this, which is odd. Normally I hate the past timeline, but I did like the past timeline, but I hated the present day timeline with a passion. Whenever I read it, I stopped reading, and so eventually I was like, I need to stop reading this book because it's taking me forever because I don't want to read it when I'm in this timeline. So I gave up, and that's okay. Are you a DNFer? Let me know down below, and if you made all the way to the end of this video and you'd like to leave me an emoji just to say you were here, leave me a bathtub emoji or like a rubber ducky. I'll leave some videos on the screen for you to check out in case you want to continue hanging out with me, and have yourselves an absolutely remarkable day.